Were you worried about Holmes-itis? Because the book's out,
Yes.
and then the next Guy Ritchie film is out in December, and then I think in January the BBC have slated the second series with Benedict Cumberbatch and
Which is
Stephen
wonderful.
Moffat.
I love that series. I mean, the Sherlock on BBC is a triumph. I think it's really fantastic. I think Benedict Cumberbatch is terrific. Stephen Moffat is a friend of mine and a great writer. He's done a really good job. The Downey Jr. film, the first one, I quite liked it, actually. I thought it was all right. A bit Indiana Holmes, maybe, rather than Sherlock, but still enjoyable for all that. And I'm looking forward to the next one this Christmas. Too much? It did worry me a little bit. But don't forget, mine is sort of back to the 19th century, back to basics. It's sort of, dare I say it, the real Sherlock Holmes. I don't mean to knock the others by that, but it is different to them and sits, I think, quite comfortably with them.
There's a danger, isn't it, that these things can get lost, though, because people just hear Sherlock Holmes.
But people love Sherlock Holmes. You know, in the Guinness Book of Records, he is the character most portrayed on film and television now. Of all characters, he's the one that's had the most actors play him. People still love him. There's something about him. You know, talking about James Bond today, it's a little bit like Bond. There aren't many figures in literature. You just can't seem to get enough of them.
Have you never been approached by Barbara Broccoli?
If only. No, I mean, years ago, I tried to get the gig of writing a Bond film, and I met the producers, tried to sell myself, and they said politely, no, go away. So I thought, okay, I'll do my own, and invented Alex Rider. So it was actually quite a good thing in the end.
If they said now, fancy writing Bond 24, would you do it?
Wow. Yeah, I probably would, actually. I think it. I love Bond. I love the books.
If you did it, let's really explore this now. If you were to do it, right?
Oh, right.
Because I know you're an ideas man, so straight away you'll know this. Would you go old school or not? Would you bring back more gadgets and the car? Would you make it traditional, or would you try and keep it as modern as, say, Casino Royale?
I think the modern ones, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, I think did lose a little bit of the Bond brand. It lost a certain sort of warmth, the tongue-in-cheek quality. But at the same time, the Roger Moore Bonds had gone far too far. Those awful sort of sexist, groany jokes, some of those ridiculous gadgets. I'm afraid John Cleese's contribution to the Bond movie was catastrophic, really. As much as I like the actor, I mean, I just thought that role was horrendous, and the gadgets got more and more stupid. So it's a question of balance. I think I'd have gone back a little bit, like sort of 20% back again, but I'd keep it 80% modern. So if this is a job interview and anyone happens to be listening, you have my email.
Brilliant. The film that you're working on at the moment, of course, is a sequel to Tintin, and it's barely out. I mean, the original's just come out, I think, start of half-term last week.
Secret of the Unicorn is number one in the UK box office at the moment. I'm very happy to see that, because if it doesn't do well in the box office, it won't be a number two. Yeah. So I'll be able to work on that one as well as with the Bond films. But it's looking good. I mean, you know... People have, the reviews have been a little bit up and down, but a lot of them have been good. People are voting with their feet. People are enjoying it. And I think Jamie Bell is wonderful as Tintin. Andy Serkis, fantastic as Captain Haddock. The action sequences are breathtaking.
I haven't seen it. Does the 3D work?
Yeah, I mean, what is great about it is I don't think it's intrusive. Some of these 3D... These days, I think, when a movie says 3D beside it, it's almost like saying this is a bad movie, don't go.
Well, do you know what's interesting, Anthony, is in the States, a lot of audiences have opted to go with the 2D version. They're not using it. And I saw Captain America in the summer and felt that was the first film where 3D had been thought of at inception rather than bolted on at the end.
I think this is immersive. When you see Tintin, you really are drawn into the action. It's not doing things like they used to, where they float stuff in front of your eyes and you're pouring at the air, trying to sort of get that thing away from you. But it's especially in some of the sort of the chase sequences, which really are pretty breathtaking. You do feel as if you are really immersed and inside the picture. Spielberg, of course, you know, he's what a great director. Give him 3D, give him motion capture animation, and he'll do things that nobody else has done. And he is the master of that medium. Because
I know you're hugely successful, and I don't know, I wonder if there's a stage in success where you reach and you think, well, when other successful people get in touch, it's less enthralling or childlike exciting. But if I'd have come up to you in 77, when you were watching Jaws, and said, you'll be writing a screenplay for that fella one day, I would have been sick with excitement. I would have been absolutely thrilled. I wouldn't have believed you for a single second either. I mean, it was sort of a dream. I've grown up with Spielberg movies, not just Jaws, of course, but Close Encounters and E.T. and Raiders, all these wonderful movies in my life which I remember so well, and which have sort of formed me in a way in my cinema going.